I gotta unmute the mic before you're gonna be able to hear me. I was just saying that we're gonna keep working on Forge recipes, and I'm not sure how many people will be joining, but yeah, it should be good nonetheless. So feel free to get in the chat there, and or you can tweet at me. I'll hopefully be able to get tweets as well. But yeah, let's see here. I was hoping to use my phone and get like, live stats and chat and stuff on here, but like, doesn't seem like there's much on here as far as live stuff goes. Like even on the dashboard, I like don't even see my yeah, there's like nothing on here. Just seems weird. Like you can't real-time views, latest published views. Yeah, it's like I don't know. I don't know how YouTubers normally do it. Let me check the YouTube app. Let's see, my channel. Yeah, it just says one watching, which is probably my own thing, so I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? Let me know if the audio is off or too loud or too quiet or whatever, but I got my better mic here, so hopefully it works out pretty good. Actually, I'm going to switch the setting on this. 1 second. This might be better, actually. Hopefully get less keyboard noises. Alright, where we left off, I think, is when we open up an actual recipe, we don't have the clone button or the delete button, because if you're logged in, and you're on your recipes, you have the edit button and the delete button. Hey Sean, how's it going? But anyways, so yeah, you have the edit button and the delete button and the clone button. So obviously I don't have any buttons. I'm not a big fan of having the buttons here. I think I also want to make it a little more obvious that vMetro 85 is a link. So let's do that first. Right, I'm not logged in over here. Let me log in just so we know we're getting the same. That's not my username. There we go. Alright, so we're looking similar. No, LastPass, go away. Alright, so let me go to my recipes, and yeah, here we go. Alright, so switch over to code. Let me know if the font needs upped. But let's see. Show blade for recipes. Yeah, and see, here's your username here. And we have text brand green, which is the same everything else. I wonder if we just do like font bold, because that'll make it look a little bigger. Yeah, I think that's probably enough, maybe. Maybe we bring the font up a little bit too. What is it currently at? It's currently at XL, and the title is it's just a generic H1. Interesting. So if we make this like a text 3XL, what does that do to it? Yeah, it makes it smaller actually, because the default H1 was higher. Make this 4 and set this to 2. What does that look like? That's pretty decent. My only concern is if there was like a really long title. Let's see, what do we got here? So like that one's probably the longest title on here, maybe. Let's see. Oh, that was pretty long. So if we were to, that one's probably longer. Oh, look at that one. That one doesn't have any spaces in it, so it's we definitely got some tests to do with the titles to see how terrible or good they would be. I actually do have a database, so we could just load in the existing database. Why don't we do that? I think it was a little better idea. I'm going to do it off screen just because I think that would be better. Let's see. I mean, the passwords are encrypted anyway, so it shouldn't really matter, but we'll just do it because, I don't know, feels better that way. Import. I do have a database file somewhere that I got the other day. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, theoretically, any luck? Alright, here we go. Good. So now we should have the same recipes here, right? So we have, well, some of these were created 4 days ago, so where it looks like we're starting here, right? So here's your WP command line. Oh yeah, I forgot. So I actually already have it shortening on the card view. So it's, you know, doing ... here. And then we got a description. Let's see. And a lot of these descriptions are looking pretty good. So this isn't looking too bad. What was that one that we were looking at? Where's that really long one? This one's pretty long. It's pretty old. So libxl. Here we go. Company interface. Okay. Still pretty wide. You know, I haven't done anything with responsiveness yet, so responsiveness probably could use some work. But what does the responsiveness look like on here? Looks pretty good, actually. Looks like navigation isn't too great on there, which is going to be the same problem I have because I don't think I've done anything. But then again, I don't know who would be trying to use Forge recipes on mobile. So I'm almost at the same quality at, as far as responsiveness goes. But we can work on that later. I don't want to work on that now. Okay, so we've well, that's interesting. I find this very, very interesting. Oh, I wonder if it's I find it very interesting that the username is different on these. Yeah, like Solve VPS. Interesting. It's like all the numbers got shifted, the IDs got shifted. Let me look at the database real quick, because I wonder if it's if it just imported the recipes and didn't clear out the ones that we already had and renumbered them or something. No, it doesn't look like it. Very, very interesting. Users. Huh. That is extremely interesting. Well, I'm not sure what happened, and I'm gonna need to do some research on it, but that shouldn't stop us from working on the system. Well, unless I have a... Yeah, okay, alright, we got... Alright, wait. Here we go. Install VIPs. Install VIPs. Okay. So that's right. Install Elasticsearch. Matt Stauffer, yeah. Install Elasticsearch, Matt Stauffer. What was the one we were looking at then? It was the... It was close to the end. It was, yeah, install libxl, blah, 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 blah. It's number 24. Yeah. So is this is also number 24. Oh wait, okay, so the name is accurate this time. So did I click on one that I thought was the same and I clicked on a different one? What? I swear. Oh wait, there is two libxl ones. Aha! Okay. Now we've determined the confusion. Good. All right. Alrighty. All right. So there is no confusion. We're good. I think bowling net makes that look good. I think that's okay. And where do we want to put the buttons? I mean, at this point, we're just trying to replicate the existing design. So I think I will just put them right where they were. So that means we're going to be putting them right to the right of. Well, I think I'm just going to do underneath. So we have clone, edit, and delete. So if we look at mine, you see if clone, edit, delete. I think I'm just going to put them right underneath here. So let's switch over. We'll lose the sidebar for a minute. Hopefully the font's big enough here. If it isn't, please let me know. Let's see what we got. We got text center. All right, so we can just do div flex. And then we want buttons here. So actually, let's see. Delete should probably be a post actually. Be a post. Edit is going to take you to an edit page. And clone takes you to an edit page, but it's the recipe number then clone. So that's very interesting. So it's kind of like a custom edit page. I do have the source code for the old one, but there's enough stuff that's changed in Laravel that it's probably not too useful to look at. Anyways, so let's just do some generic buttons for now. Let's see, we definitely want no underline. And we're definitely going to want a background of brand green and probably like text white. And we'll do, you know, padding of 4. And then we'll do clone. Let's see what we get here. Alright, that's not too bad. We got around the corners, probably uppercase let's see, rounded, uppercase. And there we go. It's too big, so let's do, let's take the padding down to 3, and we'll make the font, or how about text, small. It's not bad. Let's try some tracking wide. There you go, makes it look a little better. Yeah. So we'll do flex, justify center. There we go. And so we should have an edit button and a delete button. There we go. And we'll do some margin X too. Get them spaced out a little bit, right? Now, we got a lot of space above them, which is this margin Y8. Which is fine. Probably should just do like some. Why don't we just do margin Y4 and margin Y4 here, see what that looks like. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, maybe I'll get a little more top, so margin bottom 4, margin top 8. There we go. And the delete button, what kind of styling I got here? Because I don't think I copied this stuff. Nice red color. So let's modify this tailwind config. And we'll add this brand red color. Yeah, so we got green and yellow. Let's see. What was I going for? It's like a GitHub one. No, none of those. Tailwind. Color. There we go. Color shades. So what I'm doing is going to this tailwind color shades, and we're going to call this brand red. And it generates. And so what it does is it takes the red, which is going to be your base color, and then it makes shades for tailwind. And you just copy it to your clipboard. They're really useful stuff. And then you can just paste it in here. Alright, so now I have brand red. So now Let's go into Forge recipes, and we'll npm run watch. Got a little shortcut nrw for it, and that should recompile. So now we can change this one to brand red, and we'll see what it looks like once the compilation is done. And it did not work, or something of that nature. Is it cached? There it is. There we go. So we got similar buttons going here. And now we just gotta wire them up, right? So I don't think we have an edit page yet. So let's check version control here. What do we got? So we got our color getting added in the compilation, and then we got some of that. Why don't we just hold off on that? Alright, let's first do the edit. So the edit should only show if this is your page, right? So we need like a if auth user, actually I'm going to do auth ID, which gives me the user ID, is equal to the recipes. What column is that? Let's see, create recipes table, user ID. Okay, so the recipes user ID. Then at end if, and that's going to actually handle our edit and delete, right? So if we go back, we got neither of those because there is no login user. But if I log in, and I think I'm actually going to need to grab my password from here because I copied the database in. So if I go to my recipes, and I go to this one, yeah, now I got all three buttons. Whereas if I go to, if I go to a different recipe that's not mine, then I only get the clone button. Perfect. Alright, so let's go to my recipes, let's go to check Laravel versions, and then let's wire up this edit button. So just to get the URL right, we got recipes number edit. So let's see, edit. Here we go. So I'm actually going to use the route class, right? So route, that's not how you spell route. That's not how you spell route. Route. There we go. The extra thing there. So we're going to call it route, probably recipes, recipe.edit, and then going to need to pass in the ID. So recipe is recipe ID. Right? And so recipe controller, we got index create shell store, so we need an edit. Recipe, we'll do some route model binding here. So we'll take our recipe, actually probably don't even need to do that, we can just do return view recipes dot edit with recipe, right? Because it's already getting found here, we can just pass it straight in, don't need to do much. And if we go to our views for recipes, we can probably just duplicate our create here and name it edit. And now we have an edit page. So we'll say edit recipe. And it's going to be recipes.update, which we don't have yet, so that's going to complain. So we are going to need to add some web routes here. Field, yeah, so we're gonna need to like populate these with the there we go. Placeholder, but also value is gonna equal recipe title. Right? So we'll hold off there. Let's add some routes for these real quick. So recipes, recipe / edit, recipes controller edit, recipes. Yeah, let's keep it all with recipes. So I'm going to go back to the show and update this to be recipes edit, even though you're editing a singular one. So recipes edit here, and then this is going to be, let's do a put, or actually it should be a patch to recipes recipe, and we'll make this update, and this to be update, and you have to be logged in. Alright, so with any luck, if we go to refresh this and we go to edit, okay, missing required parameter for recipe. Oh, I spelled it wrong. No, that's right. What am I doing? Oh, it's in the edit. URI, missing required parameters. Oh. Right. Recipe ID, because we got to pass the parameters even to the update view. There we go. Okay, so it did load this in. That's good. And with any luck, we can do recipe body, I'm pretty sure. Look at that. Perfect. And this is going to be description down here. Yep. Yeah, there you go. Nice, nice. I'm going to change this from submit to update. Alrighty, and now we don't have a controller for the update, so we'll put it down here at the bottom. Update and recipe. Right, and it'd kind of be like store, except we have the recipe. So I'm going to copy this and change this to be recipe update. Right. Alright. So, with any luck, check Laravel versions 2.0, we'll say. We'll hit update. Nothing allowed. Oh, right, because we did a patch. So let's go here. It says patch, but our edit is not doing that, so we need to do input. What's it? We have a method post. Yeah, I think we have to do input type text. Name is underscore method and value equals patch. I think that's how we need to do it. So we'll go back here. Oh, I broke something. Oh, text. This needs to be hidden. Alrighty. Check Laravel versions 2.0. Update. Oh yeah, we didn't do anything after it, so the 2.0 did work. Good. We should keep adding it and make sure everything works. 3.0, 3.0, and 3.0. Make sure all three update. And we're going to go to this page. 3.0 good, 3.0 good, and 3.0 good. Alright, so now one thing I do want to do is we need to return redirect to recipes.show. I think this needs to be route, but yeah, let me finish this. Recipe is recipe.id arrow ID. And I think this actually needs to be redirect, and then inside this route, like this. I'm not positive on that. What are we missing? Syntax unexpected comma. Oh, I got two. Yeah. How's that? Alright, let's see if this works. So edit. 2.0 update. Hey, it worked. Good. So what happens when I update here? Okay, it does just redirect me back, and it has a test, so yeah, we're good. Alrighty. But we need to add a form request because we need to make sure that because right now a user could maliciously post to another endpoint and change it, right? So I could, just go in and modify where I'm posting to be this one and update the other one, right? Right, so like this, mine's 156, so if we take I'm on 154 right now. If I were to, oh no, I can do that. I can overwrite this 154 with my 156. So I'm at 156, I hit this edit button. And if I go here and instead of 154 or 156, I change this to 154, and then I say I changed someone else's, and we hit update, it would go, and as you can see now I changed it to someone else's. So 154 has now been overwritten. And I presume that the security exists in the first one. It's not worth testing because it doesn't matter. Well, I guess I'm exposing it, maybe I should, because if it's bad then we should probably fix it, right? Or prevent editing until it's fixed. But so we'll change this to test. Let me do it to my other one just to make sure I don't break anybody else's. So 152 is what I'm going to be messing with if I do it. So inspect, and I change this to 152, and then I hit submit. Uh-oh. 152. Okay, so we have a critical vulnerability on forgerecipes.com. Well, since that was on the live stream, I think I have to bring down the site now. So, give me 1 second. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go pause the stream. Well, I'm gonna put up the banner so I can log into my server and bring the site down. So, yeah, it'll just be a minute. Sorry. Thanks, Sean. I've been muted this whole time. Basically, what I'm trying to do now is I'm going to create a form request to ensure that the user that is that created the recipe is the same user that's trying to do the request, right? So we have the logged in user is equal to the one with the recipe, right? So the user ID of the recipe. Actually, I'm gonna make this more. Sean Beal like this. Make this more clear rather than doing $R. Why make it ambiguous when it's not that much and it's just code? So there's no reason to use short variable names. So I'm checking the current user's ID against the recipe user's ID, right? And then we'll make sure that we're actually requiring the title. So we're actually doing some extra validation here. Title and body. And it doesn't make sense to have a recipe without a body. Description. I don't think I'm going to require description. But yeah. And then we do need a user ID. But actually that gets set on the back end. So, right, because we requested content. Oh, so we're actually pulling in content instead of body. So I need to update that. Because we're using content and setting it to body. And yeah, the user ID we're setting from the actual authenticated user rather than using what's on the form, because then they could spoof that as well and create recipes for somebody else or update recipes for somebody else. We don't want that. Okay, so we have this, we have this. We now need to switch out our request here. So we put this and do request and make sure this is imported. So now it's imported here. Now with any luck, we shouldn't be able to override anybody else's. See, so I changed someone else's. And well, here's the interesting thing is they did change somebody else's, but it was still registered to me, right? So they just erased somebody else's is essentially what you did. So we'll go edit here. We'll then go back in here and change, I don't know, let's say 122, okay? So if I hit update at this point, 122, now I got code issues. Recipe not found. Oh, in here. Recipe, we'll import that, app recipe, and we'll refresh the page. User does not exist on this collection instance. Huh. This route recipe, oh. So maybe, wait, I think this issue might be because that recipe doesn't exist and I didn't do a find or fail here. So I'm checking the database real quick to see if 122 does exist. It does. So let's add a find or fail because I'd want to do that anyway. And we'll refresh here. And it still says it does not exist. So it's in this authorized method, recipes user ID. So I'm gonna just put this out to the logger, which we'll just put this in the Laravel log. So let's go storage, logs. Looks like I'm time dating them here. January 21st, right, because UTC. All right, here we go. Let's refresh this. Okay, so this is the log we got here. Holy moly, 122 is a big one. ID 2. 226. This is interesting. So it looks like we're getting a lot of them. Like here's 122. So I'm not sure how this find is working. See, I've had this weird issue before where I do have a find. So I'm going to change this to where ID is this. First or fail, I think is a function. First or fail, maybe? No? It's first or fail. I don't think first or fail is a function. Let's check. Find or or fail? First or fail. Yeah, first or fail's the thing. I was right. First or fail. Let's try again. Alright, we got a 404 because it says I can't find it, right? But we're getting that 404 because we're unauthorized. Well, we should get a 403. Should we? Huh. Do we at least get the right recipe? Let's see. Save this. Let's run this again. Page not found. Yeah, so here's my edit. We changed this to 122. We had update. We had a 404, and it didn't hit this, which is interesting. So it's actually failing to find it, which makes me think that this route recipe isn't working right. So let's change that, and we'll refresh again. Okay, so that is 122. It did fail, but I'm getting a 404 still. Let's do this. Return true. So basically, we're hacking it to bypass the authorized to just make it true. So it should let me edit this one, even though it's not mine. Let update. See, we just got that, and we still printed all this. I'm not sure. Okay, so this route recipe, this is what we do. Just to make sure, before and after. And we're just returning true, so we have an empty log, and then we refresh again. Okay, so we hit the before, we got all this stuff, and we hit the after. So the recipe itself is coming back here. So I think I know what the problem is. We were not sending the ID in our request form, we were just sending this, right? So what we need to do is say this route recipe ID like this, which means that find probably would work if we do it right. So yeah, that's what we're expecting. We're expecting this 403 because you should be unauthorized to do this. But if we go back to my 154, we'll say again, and we update, we should be able to do all ours because this is ours, right? Perfect. Alrighty. So that's our rules. We should also require title and content, because if we say we need to create a form request for creating a recipe as well, because right now I can submit and then I get database errors because title can't be null, right? And just to make sure, with the create recipes table, description isn't nullable either right now, so I think I'm actually going to change that to nullable. Let me check the current database, because we're going to have to import these at the very least, and there is some blank descriptions. Yeah, I have it up on my other screen. Sorry for not being able to show it to you, but just in case there's any issues, I don't want to mess with it. Alright, so it does need to be nullable, so we're going to change that in the database. Is body should always be nullable. Or shouldn't be nullable, because otherwise it doesn't make sense. The title definitely shouldn't be nullable. Yeah, so I think we're good there. Alright. So yeah, so we basically just need to replicate this form request. So let's create a new form request. So I'll make a recipe store form request. Yep, and we're just going to copy this here. Recipe store form request, and we're going to put this in here. And what we're going to do is we're going to return true, because at any point you should be able to Well, actually, really, we should just do like auth check, right? Because you just need to be logged into store. Otherwise, somebody could do a post, like try to create a post to the system without being logged in, and then it would throw an exception because we're checking for the user ID. So we just need to make sure that the user's logged in before they can do that, right? And then we go into recipes controller, and for store we will just add that. So recipe store form requests and request, and there we go. So we should not be able to store anymore, and it should come right back, right? But it's not giving us any errors because we haven't set up to catch the error bag, right? So what I think I'm gonna do, because frankly I'm sort of lazy, combined with the issue of the current production site is down right now, because of the security issue we discovered on this cast. I think I'm just gonna sort of hack it and put it at the top, just the errors at the top, because I want to get this sort of fixed up and out there for people to use. All right, see you, Sean. Thanks. But yeah, so I think I'm just going to throw an error bag at the top of these pages. And for, you know, I think I might just throw it at the top of the layout. No, I don't know. That's kind of, maybe I'll just add a partial. And then, let's see, Laravel blade errors. Yeah, we'll just grab this because I don't feel like worrying about it. So errors first, errors all. Yeah, if errors. All right, we'll just do it real quick. Let me get my create. Yeah, here's my create, there's my form. So right before this, we're gonna say like if errors and if. So we'll do test, right? So I'll open the create. Okay, so errors exist. So we probably need like if errors count. That means if there's more than one error, right? And then we'd say at for each errors as error. That doesn't need a $sign. At end for each. And then let's just print out the error. Okay, and submit. And we get nothing. See? This is why, let's see, Laravel docs, errors, error handling, validation, error handling. Let's just go to error handling. Errors, report method, customer. So we really need like blade errors, blade templates. Let's go there. Subviews, extending, switch, blah, blah, blah. Errors. Working with error messages. Okay, errors first, errors get, errors all. Yeah, see, this is what we need. We need the all. And then true all messages, determine if messages exist, custom messages. Named error bags. Manually creating validators. So I just don't know if the count is going to be what we need, but we'll see. Yeah, okay, good. All right, so the count is working, and that is good. So we'll just add a, so let's just add a div here, right? And we'll do a class of width. We'll give it like half, and a background of red light, and a text of red dark, and rounded, and we'll do margin 3, padding 3, and then for each of these we'll just do a div. Yeah, let's see what we get here. Alright, that's not as good as I want. So text white instead, and we need a MX auto, and so your margin Y. There you go. So let's go lighter on this. That's kind of too light, but I don't like it darker. Self-mid tag, text, red, darkest. What does that look like? It's not bad. Can we go with darker instead of darkest? Yeah, I like that better. And so what I think we want to do first though is add like a dot text Excel. Oops. Do a margin bottom 1 just to separate it out a little bit. And I think we're just going to go in here and update these because I do like having messages. You can just add another thing called messages on here, and you return an array as normal. So you do like if you want title.required. So if you had like multiple validators, you can specify different for each one. So I'm just going to say please provide a title. Content required. Content. Please provide content for your recipe. This is update, but it'll work just the same because it's the same two things. So let's add this in here, and if we hit submit, they should change. There you go. Please provide a title for recipe. Please provide content for recipe. Good. So now we have validators and a nice little box for that. That's good. Alright, so this brings us back to recipes. You can now edit. Edit should work, and if you submit it without good information, description cannot be null, right? Because that's the current database, which I'm going to need to modify. So that's okay. But now we need to handle the delete and the clone. So the delete, let's see, we're going to need to be a recipes controller, and we'll go down to the bottom here and add a destroy method. And we do want to still pass the recipe in, and so we'll do recipe delete. Return view, probably just recipes.index. Except I gotta spell return right. There we go. And we probably want to flash a message here. It probably wouldn't be bad to flash messages in general. I don't know if the main site did. And it'd be also better to have a confirmation box here. I don't remember if the other site did either. Such a hard thing to do. Like, how how do I handle that, right? Because the site's down, it would be nice to bring it up. Well, I guess we can look at the code. Since the site's down, let's just look at the code here. All right, so config controllers. All right, so recipe controller. Let's see what we were doing on the destroy method. Yeah, destroy recipe with recipe delete is true. So users show, okay, so it was going back to the users page with the recipe delete flag on. Let me full screen this. So let's see, user show. So see more awesome recipe staff pick, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's in the layouts file, layout master. Well, I guess we can just find recipe delete, right? Recipe controller with recipe delete true. Let's see, updating, deleting styles. I don't see any of this. Is there any flash messages going on? It doesn't look like it. So it looks like we're just redirecting. I don't see, I mean, we're finding it or failing it, which is pretty much what we're doing, and then we're going to redirect. They're redirecting to the user's homepage instead, which probably makes sense because you probably started there when you were getting there. So I kind of like this idea, so we'll probably fix that. But I don't understand this here because we just went to user show. User username, see more awesome recipes. Is that pick? Like, yeah, there's nothing here. Is there any more sections? Include partial header. So, header. Is there anything here about? If you're logged in, we're showing your image. The header, the navigation. I don't see anything. There's the content partials footer. Is there anything in the footer? No, the footer's pretty basic. So I'm not seeing anything that is printing out. It's printing out any sort of flash message. So I think what we'll do for right now is we'll just let's not worry about it, but that is something that would be nice. So I think what we'll do is we'll do a to do confirm delete and flash message. So these would definitely be upgrades that I think I want to make, but yeah, I don't want to this first run I kind of just want to replicate what's out there, and obviously at this point fix security issues, but I don't want to go past that right now. So alright, so we now have a destroy function, but we don't have it in webs. So let's go here. We're going to have a delete request to the actual recipes. We're going to send it to the destroy method, and we'll destroy. And so now what we need to do, configuration error of the application, huh? Alright, well, thanks for trying to help. Sorry, PHP CS Fixer. It's great, but apparently sometimes it has problems. Alright, so show recipe. So basically what we need to do is we need to convert this to a post. So let's see if we can just inline this or not. Form action post. I don't know. Form action is going to be route recipe dot destroy, and we're going to send the recipe through just like we have for all these other ones. Recipe ID, and bring the form down here. And we're going to change this to be a button, which doesn't need an href, and a type of submit. think that means we can remove no underline because buttons don't have underlines. Make it delete. Let's see what the UI looks like. Did it mess in anything? No. It's still perfectly in line. That's good. So we need a CSRF field. And we need a input. Type hidden. Name is underscore method. And value equals delete. And with any luck, number 154 should go bye-bye. Which did not work. Oh, because I need a method equals post here. So we'll go back, we'll refresh this. Delete. Undefined variable recipes, index.php. Oh, right, because I redirected to... Yep. I tried to redirect to index, but that didn't work because we didn't pass in the recipes, which is a required parameter. Right, but I should have that one that I stole gone, which I think I do. So let's go ahead and create a new recipe. Test, 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 submit. Field select doesn't have a default value. Well, that's interesting. I don't think we had this form before, did we? Well, let's fix it. Create, recipes create, store, slug. Oh, that's right, because the old recipes table had a slug column that we do not have, and I don't know what the original, I think they might have originally been planning to slug the URLs, but they never did. So I'm going to check the allow null on the table, which is giving me problems. So we'll just wipe out the database with the old stuff. And we shall log back in with all this fake data. Go to my recipes. Got plenty of them. Create a recipe. Not now. Create a recipe. Test, test, test. Submit. There we go. So now we got my test one. And okay, so now this is where I was trying to delete it, right? So we also need to do, also need to make sure that this recipe belonged to this user, because we don't want to send a delete request to somebody else, right? So let's see. We did the other ones with a form request, but we don't really need all that for the form request, right? So I'm just going to do a validation in line here. So I'm going to say recipe, which we'll do auth ID is equal to recipe user ID. And I'm going to actually do if it's not equal to, and then I'm going to do abort 403. Okay, so if you're sending this and you're not the authorized user, then you get abort 403, right? And right, so like if I left this open, well, that's in the web route. So yeah, so if I reconstructed this delete to go to somebody else's, I should get a 403, right? So if I inspect this the same way we did last time, if I inspect this in my editor, and I go in here and see it says 21, and I change it to be, well, I guess I need to find one that's not mine. Are they all mine? They're all mine. Okay, time to do some database hacking. I'm just going to throw another user in here real quick. Okay, now there should be some assigned to Bob. Okay, so this one's Bob. Number 7 is Bob, right? So if we change this to 7, right, and this is in the delete one, and if I hit delete now, I should get a 403. Yep. Forbidden from access in this page, right? So now, but this is 21. I can delete 21. Undefined variable recipes. Right, and the same thing. This is the redirect issue that I was just talking about. We were just looking at. Alright, so I think our users controller, user recipes controller still requires recipes and the user, right? So, I just need to return a redirect to that route. That's all. Return redirect. And then we just do route. Right? But I'm going to do, what route is the user's, user recipes index. So we do this, we should be better. Right, so 21 doesn't exist anymore because I deleted it. So we'll go ahead and create a new one to test this out. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go in here. Now we hit delete. Should delete missing route. Ah, crap. Here we go again. Username. Let's make sure we get this right. User is looking for username. Yep. Our username is going to be auth user username. So if I hit refresh, will it work? Recipe not found because I deleted it again. Go back to the create page. Create a 999 one. Let's submit. We created it. It's here. We'll hit delete. Now it redirected me to my page. Good. Alrighty. Alright, so let's do a commit because we haven't done a commit and now we got a lot of stuff, right? So let's see here. Stage files. Alright, so this is just the styling change, which is mainly due to delete. We did the edit, the update, and the destroy. Let's see, that is showing the recipe. We changed the link at the top, which is fine. We made the edit page. We modified the create page to show the errors, but we didn't do that on the update page. So let's do that. See, this is why reviewing your code's good. Actually, I think I might, if it'll work, which I think it will, I think I'm going to create a new partial. And I'm going to paste this in here. And then instead of this, I'm just going to say include partials.errors. And what this allows me to do is then if I ever want to update it, I can just update it in one fell swoop, right? And so on the edit page, this also needs to be right here at the top. Right? So if we go to this one and then we go to edit it, and I take out the title and I hit update. Yep. And it puts it right back in. Look at that. Beautiful. Ooh. That's not gonna work. It's not going to work. Because if I change this and I clear this, and I'm still going to get an error, but change this is now gone. So I think what that means is, see, this is recipe title, so it should be old recipe title. Let's see. Okay, see, it didn't bring the new one, so I think it needs to be, if there is an old recipe title, then do that. Otherwise, recipe title. Or recipe title. Is it old just title? I don't think it's a recipe title because it doesn't know about the recipe. It just knows that there's a title. I think. Okay, so if I take this out, new one, I hit update. Does new one stay? New one does stay. But do I need this to, I think I still need this to get the initial load when we first load it. Yep. So I think this is what we need for all of these. So this is actually content. And this one is going to be description. Yeah. And I think we're going to need to set these on the create page as well, because if you go to create and you don't have it filled out properly, you don't want to get it rejected. That'll be really annoying if it cleared out everything. So we'll do old title. It's not going to have a recipe, obviously, so we'll do that. Value here, and we'll do old content and old description. And let's just make sure that works. So put some H's in here, hit submit. Should get an error, but it should still give us it back, right? And if we do stuff down here, it should be the same. And if we click the title and we put some stuff in here, it should be the same. Good, see? All right, anyways. That's why you should review your code. All right, so now we've added the old stuff in here, and we separated this errors out into a blade file. That's CSS compilation. We updated the recipe table to make description nullable, which is good. We have our form requests, which is good as well. And what's our recipes controller? That's, yeah, all the update and all this stuff. So we'll stage all this. We'll say adds update, edit, edit and delete actions to recipe. Edit, delete action, edit, delete, and we'll say security. And security, yeah. We'll just call it that. It's fine. It doesn't need to be perfect. Just commit messages, and for now they're only going to be seen by me. So, well, I mean, and you guys, I guess. All right. So now I think the only thing left that we need to replicate is cloning, right? So when you hit the clone button, it took you to basically a create recipe page. That had everything filled out for the old one, right? So let's see what we got here. So I think what I'm gonna want to do is create a new controller. So artisan make colon controller, and then we'll do recipe clone controller. Okay. So we open up our recipe clone controller, and I think what I want is kind of like a create. You know, similar to this create, we're just going to return a view, but this view is going to be a little different because this is actually going to have the recipe. With recipe, right? Because it's going to have the old data. Recipes.clone is what I think we're going to call it. How about clone.create? And then we're going to need a store method for that recipe. And this is going to be, oh wait, we don't have that. We're not going to actually have a recipe. It's going to be pretty much this exact same thing here. Which means we don't really need, a store method because we can use the existing one. So it's really just going to be this create method. And that's going to take the recipe, that's what we're doing with our route model binding, and pass it on. And this recipe's clone is actually going to be a create, but it's actually better to be the edit. So resources, views, recipes. So this edit is really kind of what we're working with here, and this is going to be like a clone page. And this clone page is very much like the edit, because you want the existing recipes body, but you don't want this recipe ID here. So we're going to take this out because we're not going to post to that existing recipe. We're actually going to post to the recipes store, right? Which is what is in our web routes. Recipes store, right? We're posting to recipes. Yeah, and we don't want to patch, we actually want to post. And this is going to be update, and this we're going to change to clone. Right? And I think all we need is a web route for it now, which is going to be a get to clone. Clone.create. And this is going to be recipe clone controller. And this is going to be create. So now we just need to change our route on our show to be route here, and with any luck, so required from LRA. So we need to add in the route parameter to this guy here. Okay, and then when we hit clone, that should take us to 2/clone, and of course we gotta import recipe here. I always forget, imports are like the death of me. Clone, create, not found. Oh, I think I didn't, the view, I actually just created recipes.clone. There we go. So it says edit recipe, so we need to change that, but you see it populated all the information. So we need to say clone recipe, right? And then, so let's go to all recipes. Let's go to one that Bob has. And so now I can't edit it, all I can do is clone, right? So when I hit clone, we got Sinit Omnis Exorcism, Exor something or other. And this is the exact same thing, right? And so I'm gonna say Vince's version, and we're gonna hit clone. And that's going to go, take me back to recipes, which, yeah, and so here's my version here, right? Yeah. And, okay, so here's the one thing we're missing now, because that worked. All we need to do is be authenticated for that. There's no extra permissions that we need to think about there. But the next thing I'm thinking is that, if I'm remembering the old site, it had an indicator to indicate that it was a cloned recipe, and then you could see the parent recipe. And so we should have a parent ID listed here. Oh yeah, see, there you go. So we can't, I think we actually do need our own store control store, because otherwise we won't have the parent, right? Or because at this point the database does not have the parent ID on that last one. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It does not have the parent ID, right? So parent ID is still null. So I think what I can do, which I think I might do, because I don't know why I mean, I guess you could spoof it, but it just wouldn't make sense. So clone recipe, we have a body, we have this whole thing, it's going to post this whole thing. So I'm going to do input type hidden, and then I'm going to do parent ID and value equals the old recipe's ID. Okay, and then in my recipes controller, when I do a store, I will go parent ID is going to be the request parent ID if it's there or null. And so what this allows me to do is use the same controller for either one, right? It doesn't matter. So if we go back over here and I hit clone for on my own Vince's version, we'll call it 2.0. Now when I clone it, I should have I'll call undefined function request. Ah, I gotta spell things correctly apparently. We'll go again. Alright, so we should have a 3.0. Or I'm sorry, 2.0, right? 5 seconds ago. And the database, haha, parent ID is 24, right? So now we need an indicator on the page that it was cloned. And then I think I may add a little like clone icon to the actual card. I think it could be cool to have a clone icon on the card. But for now, let's just add like a cloned, and then maybe like right under this on the show blade. It's like right under the title. We can have like a at if recipe parent ID and if, and we'll do, you know, so cloned from, and then we'll get the name. So what do we have for the recipe? We have recipe time ago, staff pick, get staff pick, get excerpt. So I think I'm gonna add parent and then return this belongs to, and it's gonna be recipe class, and then it's gonna be parent ID, I think is what we want. And so I think here I should be able to do clone from recipe parent title 25. Yeah, see right there. So we'll do italic, text small, and I think we're gonna link this, right? Because that's the whole idea, is that you'd want to be able to link to it. And so we'll say route recipes dot show recipe is going to be recipe parent ID. Slide this so we can see here, right? And then this should link to 24. Perfect. So I think I want to do like a margin X and a margin Y of maybe just 1. Just give it a little space. And then let's just add some classes to this stuff to style a little better. Do some cleanup here. Clone from, should we have a lowercase c or uppercase c? I like a lowercase c, I think. And we just need to add some nice class text gray darker, maybe. Yep. But no underline. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Alright, so are we missing any functional stuff here? I don't know. I think I'm going to have to think about it some more, and hopefully I'll put it back up, or put this new version out there. But there's always risk. So let's just run through it real quick. All recipes, it's all there. I need some sort of header like the old site had, so we'll have to look at that. Staff picks, there's no staff picks on here right now, which is a problem, and that doesn't line up right, so we'll have to fix that. So bottom of the all recipes, okay, my recipes, that's good. That's good spacing. I think we're okay there. Oh, we need a log out button. There's no way to log out currently, so you have to, like, you know, clear your application cookies or whatever. So here you go. Now you can log in and register. Gonna work on that home page. Looks like we have some footer stuff going on here. I thought I fixed that, but apparently not. Alright, so we definitely have some stuff to do before I can launch this. What I'll do right after this stream is I'm going to go ahead and probably try to put up a quick little message on the 503 up there, or the 503 to indicate why the site is down. Well, thanks for joining me. I think I'm done for tonight, and hopefully throw together a quick page to put up there so people know why it's down, and hopefully get it back up and running soon. Thanks for joining me. See ya.